Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Fox Den. Now, I know this is pretty unusual of me to record a part 2 for a series that has been highly requested. Well, since I see you guys like this series, like the first episode, I'm doing a part 2. Which, yeah, I know, is unnatural for me, but hey, what can you do? Once you gotta know it, you gotta know it, right? So anyways, welcome to What If Female Deku Was the KMS Bismarck from Azure Lane. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Now, before we continue where we left off, I'm gonna do something that you wouldn't expect. We cut forward about 5 or so years into the future. Actually, no. We fast forward a year into the future. As we see, Enterprise and Bismarck fighting. The Hood is currently passed out near Enterprise. Bloodied, broken. Prince of Wales is not fighting. It's almost like she refuses to. And all you hear from Enterprise is, Bismarck, why? Would you do this? You had the hopes. You gave all the people hope. Why would you do this? Bismarck simply replies saying, if I didn't, one of us would have done it anyways. So, I'll use their technology to make us great again. To make the human race more prosperous than they ever were before. The sirens will bring up our foundations of a new era of humanity. The red axis will have to take over for this to happen, though. And then we cut over back to the present. This is the next day after the Denki Kaminari's home visit. And she just sits there in her office, typing away on a computer, discussing with her commander, what they should do with the support items she's requested for Bakugo Katsuki and Kaminari Denki. Denki's support item is what to describe as a railgun. His support item will charge. He can store little bits of charge into it. And then once it reaches max capacity, he can choose to let out the electricity as short bursts, or do one big burst of electronical energy that can equal his 1.3 million volts without his downside kicking in. As well, there's a little slot in it for shells, ammo, and rocks, that kind of thing, that can act like some sort of railgun when he uses it with his power storage of his support item. Bakugo Katsuki's. His support item will be similar to cannons, however, due to how the Bismarck is, and how fuel reacts to nitroglycerin, she makes her and her commander made a fictional nitroglycerin fuel substance, gasoline substance, that combines the two, binds them together, and causes the two to explode violently when exposed to sparks. Which means when Bakugo's sweat gets mixed completely, when he pulls the pin, the two substances will start to mix, create friction, to have it heat up to the point where his sparks will ignite it. And that's only on his right gauntlet. His left gauntlet uses nitroglycerin and dilutes it enough so it becomes a sort of flamethrower. She's called this project. She's called the support item. Oh fuck, I forgot the tank model. I'm gonna say the Firefly. She calls this model the Firefly. Denki's support item is simply just called, well, Railgun. Now, we cut over to someone you wouldn't expect. We cut over to Enterprise. I mean, I started with her in the episode, so it makes sense for me to cut over to her. I don't have a picture for her yet, but I will find a good one for the next episode. Because episode 3 will be mostly focused on Enterprise and her little adventures. We cut to Enterprise, who's currently on her way to Japan, receiving word from her friend Hood to ask to cover for her one day as a substitute. Now, let me explain the world of the ship girls' quirks. Like I explained in episode 1, the girls in Germany who have the Iron Blood quirk will be similar to what their Azure Lane counterparts are. However, this quirk can only be accessed by females. And only females. No other race, no other gender can access it. Females are the only ones that can. Which does piss off a lot of people. That females are the only one that can access a powerful quirk like Iron Blood or Eagle Union or Soccer Empire or... You get what I'm saying. Or the Royal Navy. However, the quirks are region specific. You have to be part of that region and born in that region and have people who are from that region give birth to you. I explained how the quirk can be passed down genetically. However, since it's a common quirk, two people who are completely different quirks could be a possibility of that their daughter could be born of Iron Blood, Eagle Union, Royal Navy, or Soccer Empire. However, these quirks are extremely powerful. Like I explained multiple times already. I'll get enough this. Enterprise, being the first ship to appear, the first pro hero to appear with the Eagle Union quirk. Named after, well, the American flag. That's what the Eagle Union quirk is named after. Well, the American national bird. That's what Eagle Union is named after. The national bird for America. Now, we have her going across the Atlantic. On the way to, well, seeing the Hood and Bismarck in them. Now, when she finally reaches, when she reaches Hawaii to, well, ironically, Pearl Harbor, you're going to see what I'm doing here, aren't you? If you see history, you already know what I'm going to do. Suddenly, Pearl Harbor gets attacked. I mean, come on, it was obvious. As these warships with red markings, and they look way too futuristic for the time, come out, and then there's people, more people like Bismarck, Hood, and them, appear from these purplish portals that have in their grayish in skin tone, some human tone, but what marks them all is black main guns and yellow markings. And they look almost aquatic-like. And so, Enterprise thinking, oh god, what are these guys? I don't have enough time to think. I must defend this place. As Enterprise does just that. She says, Enterprise rolling out, or Enterprise engaging in combat. As her ship transforms, the ship that's part of her quirk transforms into, well, her weapons, her bow and arrow with her stuff, everything from the Azure Lane game and anime. All that stuff happens. Now, one thing that's unique about the My Hero version of Enterprise is that she's actually has a multi-quirk. Her other quirk is called Siren, and this quirk will come into play later on in the series. All this stuff's going on. Then she realizes that she's getting overwhelmed, so she sends out the distress call. And this is when we cut over to the Hood. Currently in the medical ring with Recovery Girl, getting repaired after a accident with their field training. Because Bismarck does not go easy on even her own friends in terms of training. However, she took it a little too far this time. So, when Hood received a call from Enterprise saying that we have a situation at Pearl Harbor, Pearl Harbor is getting attacked, I require backup from the Royal Navy and Ironblood. And since I'll explain a little too, each individual quirk, the Ironblood, Sakura Empire, and all those, have their own little groups, their own joint hero agency. Ironblood, they're all named after their quirks. Ironblood, Sakura Empire, Eagle Union, and the Royal Navy. And these hero agencies are always founded by the governments their headquarters are in. Ironblood's being in Germany, Sakura Empire being in Japan, Royal Navy being in Britain, and the Eagle Union being, well, America. And their leaders are, well, Enterprise, Bismarck, King George V, and Queen Elizabeth, and then Yamato, for Sakura Empire, the Yamato. Even though in the anime and game is the Nagato, being the sister ship to the Yamato. However, I'm doing the Yamato due to the fact that they did mention that the Yamato had to do, when the Nagato had to go do something, Yamato took over. So I'm doing this where Nagato is still not built yet. Still not born yet. Since Nagato is a lolly in Azure Lane, I'm going to have Yamato be the actual leader and step down when Nagato comes to be. So she sends a distress call towards Ironblood and Royal Navy because they have people nearby, aka Bismarck, Prince Eugen for Ironblood, Unicorn, Hood, and Prince of Wales for Royal Navy. From the Royal Navy. And so, she got the distress call, she got Recover or Go, let her go. She quickly runs into Bismarck's office saying, Bismarck, we gotta go, we received an SOS from Pearl Harbor, from Enterprise. Enterprise, huh? Well, we must get moving out then, shall we? Bismarck simply says that, and she says we're running by. Grab Prince Eugen, Erdogan, and I hope I pronounced that name right. If someone can help me pronounce that down in the comments, please tell me. I don't want to mispronounce German names. It's like Bismarck. Sein Bismarck. I can pronounce that pretty well because Bismarck is pretty well pronounceable. Prince Eugen. Prince Eugen. There we go. I think that's it. Erdogan, I think it is. Prince Eugen. Erdogan. Goddamn, I'm gonna move on before this becomes a 40-minute video. Well, after all that stuff happens, Hood runs off, grabs Prince of Wales, Unicorn. As she runs into when getting Unicorn, she runs straight into, well, Aizawa's turn to teach class, with panic expression saying, Aizawa, I'm sorry, but this is Ship Girl matter. This is Royal Navy, Ironblood, and Eagle Union matters. I need to borrow Unicorn for a while. Isabel says, why? Pearl Harbor's getting attacked. And this will be a good opportunity for Unicorn to see how people with our quirks operate. Isabel says, no, we're coming with you. We need to get pro heroes. Like, no. From what the leader of the Eagle Union agency told us, normal quirks won't work on them. It has to be someone with ours, aka the generalized ship quirks, aka the Ironblood Soccer Union, Eagle Union, damn it, aka the Ironblood Soccer Empire, Eagle Union, and Royal Navy quirks. I'm not going alone though. I'm bringing Unicorn along for not just her to get experience, but also with Bismarck, Prince Oregon, and the Prince of Wales. They're already on their way. I just came to get Unicorn, and we're moving out. Now then, bye. I will see you guys back in a few days or so, or a few hours, depending on how long the battle goes. As we fast forward about an hour or so, we cut back to, well, Enterprise's perspective. She's getting more and more damaged, so much so that her bow is starting to crack a little. Her helm, I think it's called, is starting to crack. She says to herself, I can't win. I have to use it. As, just like in the Azure Lane anime, her eyes start glowing yellow a bit. As all the sirens are chuckling, saying, oh, look, the traitor is finally using that part of her quirk. How fitting for a traitor to finally accept who she is just to win a bad... As they're suddenly cut off by three of these sirens getting shot out of the sky. As Enterprise turns around to see who did it, she sees these huge-ass guns just appear. She sees this huge-ass ship just blow out everything from the air. As she sees Bismarck. Bismarck just stands there saying, Enterprise, I believe you called for help. Don't worry. We are here to relieve you. Leave it to Azure Lane. They call their joint operation forces when all the separate agencies work together as Azure Lane. The founders being, well, not Yamato, Bismarck, Enterprise, and King George V. Queen Elizabeth didn't really say anything much about the foundation of Azure Lane. She let She let King George decide on it. As all this happens, and the battle continues on, and then, well, they do win. And this is where we're going to draw the rift between Azure Lane and what's going to form into the Red Axis. Bismarck slowly goes, after the battle, Bismarck has her ship combined into her. Right now it has no siren technology, so the Ironblood stuff, like the the siren mouths and everything, aren't there yet. Is when they incorporate siren technology into their weapons is when their signature shark-like mouths will appear. Bismarck goes up to Enterprise with a helping hand, saying, "Glad we can make it in time. I would hate to lose a friend, especially a strong opponent like you." "Well, thank you, why thank you, Bismarck? But I didn't need your help." "Nonsense. You requested an SOS for a reason." "Now then, what are these things?" I don't know, but they call themselves sirens. Ah, like the other part of your quirk? I believe was called the siren. As Enterprise gives Bismarck the death stare, saying, Bismarck responding with, I get it, you don't like that part of your quirk, but you're going to have to live with it. After all, it is you. As Bismarck simply states that their technology is impressive. Perhaps we can use this to upgrading ourselves, especially our weapons and guns, and especially our ship parts. Our ship counterparts, I should say. As the Bismarck the actual Bismarck ship forms right next to her, as her guns disappear and forming the ship. Bismarck simply saying that I would love to add this what they call siren weaponry onto the Bismarck, onto my ship. I think it would fit perfectly. Don't you agree? Don't you agree, Enterprise? Enterprise responding with, no, we must destroy these things at all costs. If the technology gets into the wrong hands, who knows what might happen. True, but at the same time, if we keep this in the border of Azure Lane, who would know about these sirens? As long as we keep this between the leaders, no one would know. Right? As Enterprise simply says, fine, I agree for now, but war never changes, right? That's always been your saying. The war against villains, the constant wars down in the Middle East. Even after 400 years, they're still at war. Now the wars in Africa, the wars in the Canadian Civil War still going on, and the constant fight between heroes and villains. Is that what you're referring to? Yes, I am, Bismarck. You always know what I'm talking about. Bismarck replies with a sincere tone. I mean, you are my friend. Why wouldn't I know what you're thinking? As she goes up to Enterprise and gives her a simple peck on the cheek, saying, you did good today. Now, do you want to come over to Japan, or do you want to go back to America? I would love to introduce you to my class, seeing how I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys have fawned over you. Enterprise simply just shakes Bismarck, saying, no, they won't. I'm not as voluptuous as you, Bismarck. Nonsense. Yes, I might be gifted, but I might be gifted in the physical area, but you're gifted in the intelligence area. After all, the original Bismarck, the ship, not the one that my quirk created, but the original, was sunk by some World War I ship, some World War I aircraft. Some World War I aircraft. Ironically, I think it was the Prince of Wales. Not too sure, but I think it was. If it wasn't, I'm going to say, for the sake of it, the Prince of Wales carried out the Operation Sink the Bismarck. As all that stuff happened and everything, Enterprise finally decides to go back to Japan. Go to Japan with Bismarck. As they get there just in time to see All Might bust through the door. Bismarck is just face palming, saying, oh God, it's his class today? Oh God. Enterprise, do you want to show them how we do things? Enterprise nods and has a devilish smirk on her. And well, you can tell that Bismarck and Enterprise are planning something. You don't know what, but they're planning something. They go in and, well, always talking about, like, a hero's never complete without their hero costume. Like me, I'm currently in my retro outfit. The outfit I first appeared in when I made my debut. as she's currently talking about the history of hero outfits and the significance of a hero's look, Bismarck, he suddenly gets a hit in the back of the neck and the kendo style gets knocked out. Everyone screams at the scene, "Who the hell hurts All Might?" And then they see Bismarck, and they all instantly shut up, knowing that if Bismarck's here, they can't get away with anything. Even Bakugo shuts up, though he is pissed off that Bismarck blatantly just knocked out All Might. As Enterprise also walks in, and all the girls freak out, and some guys freak out. That's all saying, "The American Lady of the Waves, Enterprise," named after the USS Enterprise. And then all that stuff happens. Then the canon and stuff for the heroes and villains happen. All Might wakes up and continues the rest of his class. However, at the end, All Might says this: "Well, now everyone, because we have enough people to do one more team, some of the teachers who will be appearing, some of the teachers from this year, will be demonstrating what their quirks do. Doing a live fire demonstration. This team will consist of 3 teams fighting all out. There's Eagle Union, led by Enterprise, Iron Blood, led by Bismarck, and the Royal Navy. This detachment of the Royal Navy, led by Prince of Wales. The teams are, for the Iron Blood, Bismarck, Prince Eugen, and the Deutschland." No, wait. I'm going to say those 2, because it's funny. Wait a second. Who should I bring in? Fuck it, let's just say it's the Deutschland. Actually, no. The sister ship to Bismarck. The Tripits. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure. But someone help me please pronounce that. It's the silver-haired one that looks similar to Bismarck, basically. Well, it's those 2 with Prince Eugen. Then we have Team Royal Navy. On Team Royal Navy, we have Prince of Wales, Unicorn, and the Hood. Then on Team Eagle Union, we have San Diego, New Jersey. I'm bringing the new one in, because why not? Actually, no, wait. We have San Diego, St. Louis, and everyone's favorite, Enterprise. Now, the rules are simple. They're currently fighting in the water area. The water training area we have. They'll be using their practice rounds. If they land 3 hits on each other with their rounds, they're out. However, if they had a repair ship with them, they can come back. However, this one is not. The battle is simple. When one team still remains standing, that team will win. Now, is everyone ready? As all 3 teams gives a thumbs up, as All Might simply counts down from 3, 2, 1, operation. Begin operation. As the three teams clash in the middle, as the 3 leaders for each faction right now are appearing, Enterprise, Bismarck, and Hood, the Prince of Wales are having their separate battle, as everyone else is brawling out. As the secondary stuff are all left out, They're all out due to knocking each other out, and Bismarck and the other three helping out in the battle. It's just the three leaders. As Bismarck simply states, wow. Prince of Wales, I'm surprised you're able to keep up with us. Wales, I'm surprised you can keep up with us. Enterprise just death glares towards Bismarck, saying, "That's a little rude, don't you think?" It's like, what? I'm just complimenting the little one. After all, have you seen the power of King George, of Queen Elizabeth? You gotta give me a little credit for that. I've worked with those two for a while. Enterprise, since right, I forgot. Those two have almost similar cannons to you, huh? Yep, and theirs almost as deadly. Now then, how about we have a little wager of our own? What? Whoever wins gets to decide what we do with the siren technology. With the technology we found. If I win, I'm incorporating it into my faction, my agency's weaponry. If you win, if either you two win, you can do the same, whatever you want with them. As they all say, that's agreeable. A trial by combat. Who's better fit to taking care of this foreign technology? As they begin to fight out, Bismarck unloading volley after volley after volley, Enterprise constantly dodging and firing her aircraft arrows. As Prince George simply tries to target Bismarck. 2 against 1, you can say. Just like World War II, right? See what I did there? As Bismarck fires a shell and it lands a direct hit, 2 shells find their mark onto Prince of Wales, knocking her out of the fight. As it's just Enterprise and Bismarck left. She simply says to Enterprise, Well, Enterprise, it's been fun fighting you again, but I'm afraid your time is up. What do you mean? As the last 2 secondary parts of her loadout appear next to her, as Enterprise simply states, "Oh, you've been hiding your power, haven't you? Been hiding your true firepower, haven't you?" As she simply looks back to the observation deck and simply states out loud, basically screaming, "My apologies, All Might, but you might need to repair this later." All Might simply says, "Wait, what?" As all the cannons line up towards Enterprise and lets out of all-out volley. The first volley misses their mark, destroying the wall behind Enterprise, as there's just constant holes appearing while Bismarck's trying desperately to hit Enterprise. And she decides to pull a risky move. She waits for Enterprise to do what she did to Akage in the Azure Lane anime to go to Kage to go to her. She gets close enough, and when that happens, she uses her individual weapons to wrap around Enterprise, catching her in a way. As she simply aims one of her main cannons towards her and simply states, "Fire." Enterprise is simply out then, as All Might says, "And we have a winner. It is the German Ironblood faction. The German Ironblood Agency." And this, as we come back to the opposition decks, All Might is thinking to himself, why did the three pause before their final battle? Was it take a break? No, they're probably making a bet. I know these 3 love making bets with each other. As all the students are really impressed, shocked, and a little scared of what Bismarck and Enterprise can do. And also, they're all really impressed at what Prince of Wales can do compared to when matched with the 2 monsters of the battlefield, which is Bismarck and Enterprise. All Might simply states, well, I don't need to ask this, but I'm going to anyways. Who do you guys think was the best fighter amongst them? As Momo raises her hand, saying, well, I think it's a tie between Bismarck and Enterprise. Bismarck has her firepower, while Enterprise has her maneuverability. What cost Enterprise the fight was Bismarck using her intellect to win the fight, using her individual mobility of her individual parts of her loadout, of her weaponry, to wrap around Enterprise and simply unleashes a fire volley. And so forth. Now we come back to Enterprise Bismarck helping up Enterprise. Bismarck simply stating, sorry, Enterprise, if I went a little too hard on you. Enterprise gets up and basically does the simple dust off. As she states, it's fine. I dealt with worse. I mean, we have all dealt with worse today. So, they're kind of letting out a little bit of my stress on you. Sorry about that. Enterprise simply responds with, that's fine. Just be careful. With this technology, we don't know what we can do. After all, I've seen a dream of sorts. What kind of dream is that? Bismarck replies with. Reply to Bismarck, I should say, actually. A dream where you killed Hood and Prince of Wales and was gonna kill me, simply stating that I was simply stating war never changes, how we're always gonna be in conflict no matter what. And you started a faction called the Red Axis with the Sakura Empire, who are all dominant, who are all focused on harnessing the power of the sirens. You were hell-bent, the two factions were hell-bent on controlling the sirens, not utilizing what they can do. Bismarck simply replies as with a sort of a shocked expression, but simply reassures Enterprise that, don't worry, I'll make sure that never comes to it. I'll oversee the R&D of new ship parts for our ships using Shire technology. I'll oversee it. Hell, do you have any good researchers on hand on your agency to help with this project? I'll not dive into it. I'll not have them dive too far into it to hopefully stop a red axis from forming. So, Bismarck, damn it. So, Enterprise, what do you say? Do we have a deal? As Enterprise grabs Bismarck's hand and they shake. And Bismarck, pulling a classic Bismarck, pulls Enterprise into it for a kiss. And you can see what the ship is, huh? Irony, right? Germany and America, two mortal enemies in World War II, are now having their strongest ships be in love. Because I want that to be funny. And I thought it would be pretty cute. Enterprise is shocked, and all the students and even All Might who are still watching this is shocked. Hood and Prince of Wales are knocked out. All the other ships have left. Bismarck simply breaks the kiss and simply states, I'm sorry, Enterprise. I should have asked you first. Enterprise responds with, it's fine, but you really know how to, you really are bold, aren't you? Bismarck replies with, I mean, that's kind of my entire thing, isn't it? I mean, have you seen my outfit? And Enterprise, if you would like, I would like to, go on a date with you sometime. I'll let you choose the place and when. I'll just take you and pay for it. What do you say, Enterprise? Would you like to go on a date with me? Enterprise simply just nods, and then simply faints. And simply faints. Bismarck is standing there. Well, looks like I really won now. As that's where we're going to end it off for today, guys. I just wanted to quickly make this episode for you, so you can have something to follow along. I know it wasn't much, and I was gonna put a little bit of action in it. I'm not the best of action scenes, if you can tell by a lot of my old what ifs. I'm good with slice of life stuff, so my next series that I do will probably focus mostly on slice of life, ignoring most of the combat aspect. The next episode will mostly focus on Enterprise and Bismarck's relationship, mostly following the Enterprise though. Just keep him warned of that. And I will mostly do slice of life and barely any combat. So anyways, this is Fox, and enjoy the rest of your night or day or your time zone, everyone. Peace out, Fox Den.